Perhaps you've realized you want to build your and move your blah, 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 blah. Number 2. Hello everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Lessons in Teaching. I am Sheikah Jones. Thanks so much for tuning in this week. This is the 4th and final video in the job series. Now, before I move on to this week's topic, if you have not already done so, please be sure to subscribe to my channel. And if you like this video, please be sure to click like. If you would like to know more information about this week's topic, you can always check out my blog at xjonespennies.blogspot.com. And if you'd like to contact me, you can via my website at xjonesconsulting.weebly.com. Now, to move on to the 4th and final topic. This is so exciting. We have found the teaching positions that we really want. We've secured those interviews. We're getting our teaching portfolios together. And now we have our last final piece, our philosophy of education. Now, many people fail to understand the importance of making sure you have a really solid philosophy of education because, number one, it's going to help you share your passion for what you're doing and the work that you're doing, why you love education, why you love your job so much. But it also helps to keep us grounded and to keep us thinking about why are we here and why are we doing the work that we're doing. Remember, a philosophy of education changes from year to year. My philosophy of education when I just graduated from undergrad is not the same philosophy of education that I had 5 years ago, 3 years ago. They change as you work and as you live and you have different experiences. So just take a minute to reflect on your philosophy of education. Why did you decide to go into education? And just to see if your philosophy has changed. So I'm going to give you 4 tips for writing a winning philosophy of education. So let's go ahead and do it. Number 1, you really need to establish your why statement. Just like when you're writing an essay, you need to have a thesis statement. You need a why statement. Why am I doing this? Why did I decide to major in education? Why did I decide to apply for that program? Why did I decide to do a career change? Why did I decide to go into education? It's really important that you take a minute to really reflect on your why. Why am I here? Why is this something that's important to me? Once you've established that why statement, then you can move on to number 2. Number 2, now that you have your why established, now it's story time. Now you need to tell the story that led up to your why. What was it that made you want to go into education? So for some of us, it can be as simple as I had a really great teacher and that teacher ignited the fire in me that I wanted to share with other students. Or it could be an experience that you had. When I was a student, I was a diverse learner and I knew how I struggled as a diverse learner and I don't want other students to experience that struggle. That's something that you need to think about. What was the story? What led up to that eventual why? This is why I decided to go into education. Number 3 is extremely important. You need to think about how you're going to impact others because realistically, we're all in education for the same reason. We want to ensure that students are successful. So you need to think about how are you going to impact student success? And there are many ways to impact student success. You can be a classroom teacher, you can be a social worker, you can be a school psychologist. You can open a school that is geared toward the needs of a specific community. But you really need to talk about how your specific work, you specifically, will impact others. Number 4, the final thing, keep your philosophy of education to 1 page. It is not a dissertation. It is not a thesis. It does not have to be extremely long. 3/4 to 1 full page is more than enough to communicate what you think, why you decided to go into education, what was the story that led up to it, how are you going to impact others? Because remember, this is a snapshot, this is a vignette. It's just going to give your future employer an idea of why you want to be in education and a quick snapshot of the passion that you have for the field. Remember, you can save all of your stories for the interview. That's when you can really communicate to people, but keep it down to 1 page because again, realistically, 1 page is something that is very feasible for someone to take and read through. If you submit a philosophy of education that is 10 pages, then that might not be read through and through. So you want to make sure that it's something that people can look at and they can quickly get a good idea of what you believe and why you believe that you should do the work that you're doing. All right, it is recap time. This was a short video, okay? Because writing a philosophy of education, again, it's not something that should be an incredibly long thing, but it should be very impactful. So if you want to write a winning philosophy of education, these are 4 things that you need to consider. Number 1, your why statement. Why are you doing the work that you're doing? Why did you decide to go into education? Number 2, what was the story that led to that why? You always have to give background information of what led you to that place where you felt you needed to be in education. Number 3, how will you impact others? How is your role going to impact students? So think about how that impact is going to happen and be sure to explain that in your philosophy of education. And number 4, keep it to 1 page. Remember, philosophy of education does not have to be extremely long. What it needs to be is powerful. So I hope you have enjoyed watching this week's video. Thanks so much for tuning in. Again, if you have not already done so, please subscribe to my channel. And if you like this video, please be sure to click like. If you'd like to know more information about this week's topic, you can if you check out my blog at xjonespennies.blogspot.com. And if you'd like to contact me, you can via my website at xjonesconsulting.weebly.com. Thanks so much for tuning in. You guys have a great week. Hey, interested in learning more or having me work with your school or organization? See the details section below for contact information. Again, thanks for watching.